Guys, hello. Thank you for tuning into the Orchid Chronicles. It is about 5:30 in the morning here in Rhode Island, and I feel like I'm still doing my undergrad work where I would have my silk moths out at night to check mates, and I would go to the farm right about this hour, maybe slightly earlier, because when it's summertime, the sun rises earlier, and you want to get the female and potentially male moths in a sheltered location before birds start flying and pecking at them and feeding on them. And when I was doing my undergrad before I moved into the cottage in the woods, well, the cottage isn't fully in the woods, but it's close enough in the woods where lights and people on campus aren't going to interfere, so I can just leave moths out there and get up before sunrise and bring a moth in the house, from the house, and not have to worry about driving down the road, getting carted by the police at the farm, and then being groggy and driving back to where I live to go back to bed. But anyway, it's also winter, so all the moths are diapause except for the Hemiluca, but I don't rear Hemiluca because I can't find any, unfortunately. Anyway, couldn't sleep. I had to take care of a seed pod, which I'm about to get into, and let's just get into it. My POT Tricky Love, which is a Cattleya Alliance intergeneric. I pollinated the flowers back in like March or April when I got it, and yesterday I noticed that the seed pod was really yellow looking. I didn't take care of it yesterday. I was just, doing a couple other things. I have to go home later, and I have to puppy sit this week for Thanksgiving and all that. So I wasn't really sleeping well, and I figured, you know what, why waste time tossing, turning in bed? Got up, had some coffee, watched some Criminal Minds, and now I have the seed pod. By the way, I may have to pause the video because there might be custodial staff popping in at some point, because this is about the hour where they're around. It's fine. We know each other. Everyone's fine. So I have 50% bleach with some tween that I've put the seed pod in so that the seed pod can be surface sterilized. This is Knudsen 400 media with some potato powder, banana powder, and pineapple powder added to it. I call it cat germ media, Cattleya germination. It works really well. It's supposed to work really well for the Cattleya Alliance, as well as many others. Actually, K400 and P668, which are very standard orchid germination media, encompass the vast majority of epiphytic orchid genera. There aren't very many epiphytic orchids that you can't get to germinate on these media. The concentration of media you use and any additional stuff you add might vary by genus. Generally, I always add a little bit of coconut water. Don't add coconut milk. I'll show you what happens when you do that in a minute. But I'll add a little bit of coconut water, and I'll add the potato and the banana and pineapple to help with growth regulation. So you can kind of just see the media looks a little funky, but it should be fine. It's a nice solid media. My goal is to cut this into fourths, and in each of these put a fourth. There is a fourth one right here. Hang on. Let me just go over to the tissue culture over there to show you what's going on. But before I do that, I wanted to just quickly mention, so my YouTube channel doesn't have that many subscribers, and it's fine. I don't really want to be a super popular person. I am making these videos mostly for reference, and my major thing with some of the YouTube videos I make that are either for information or entertainment is I'll upload them, and then if somebody needs to take a look at what I've done, I will just send them the link. I'm not too worried about having a massive following. And let me just see. So a couple of quick things. One, I ordered some, I sold a bunch of insects on the internet. Yay. And I, was able to use the money that I got from doing that, which worked out really well because I just had, a PayPal balance, and I just used that to get some more orchid tissue culture media, as well as tissue culture media for other things, as well as some more orchids. So shout out to Orchids Amore / Pelican Coast Farms. They are an orchid grower in Florida. You can check them out on the internet. They're a really good place to get a variety of orchid odds and ends. Some of the grocery stores are starting to sell some orchids, and I got to say they're doing a lot better about introducing dendrobiums and the Oncidium Alliance orchids. I have taken pollinia from those orchids to pollinate my things with, and later I'm going to try meristem culture of orchids. I'm also going to try some fly trap and sundew tissue culture. This thing was only like $8 on Amazon. It's the Venus flytrap, and what I'm going to do is once this is all grown in, I'm going to replate this onto some MS media, and just keep subculturing it out. I have some pitcher plants here. I'm also getting some Drosera regia seeds. Anyway, let's just go over something quickly. So I was at Jabla, and I got coconut milk instead of coconut water, and this is the result. That is not mold, I assure you. That is the oil and such from the coconut milk. Oh wait, there is a little bit of mold in there. Crud. Alright, I won't worry about that though. So the white stuff in the middle though is not mold. That white stuff and the protocorms that I put in here died anyway. I transferred them just to see what happened. They didn't like it too much. But in any case, you can just kind of see how gross that media looks. And it can't be good for the orchids. It's too oily. So don't use coconut milk. Use coconut water. Anyway, I'm going to make more replay media so that when my protocorms, which I'm about to show, are fully ready to be moved about, they have some nice replay media. So this is the Doris Byron. I'm just taking a look. Doesn't look like there's too much germination yet. It looks like some of the seeds are swelling though, which is a good sign. Some of these things take a little while. Let me just see. Phalaenopsis. This is from the pod that dehisced for me in my house without me knowing. The ones that are in the liquid media, which I dropped the jar yesterday, but it didn't break. There are still protocorms in here. You can see some of them. Let me just see. Where the heck do they all go? This got really agitated yesterday when I dropped it. I wouldn't worry too much about it, but if you look closely, yeah, you can see some of the protocorms. They're kind of the not white shiny spheres. You can see one in that weird stain splotch. There are about 2 or 3 dozen enlarging protocorms in this. I'll eventually pipette them out onto replate media. And the Phalaenopsis protocorms that are greening up are doing really well. You can see all that color. You can see that the ones that are up top there look a little bit unhappy, but they're starting to change shape. I'm going to let them get a good bit bigger before I worry about replating, and that helps me just because it gives me time to prepare, and also it reduces the shock to them by me picking them up and moving them. Yeah, you can really see that greening up in there. They're starting to become photosynthetic. They still rely on the media for survival. They are not nearly advanced enough to survive outside of the media. Eventually, I'll put them on replate media, and the reason you want to replate them is 1, to alleviate crowding, and 2, to provide fresh nutrients, perhaps in higher concentrations to facilitate growth. The requirements for germination are different than the requirements for continued growth. Some people will immediately replate, and some people will give things time. Fruit flies. Anyway, so that's what's going on with my tissue culture operation. And I still have some stored media here. I might get rid of some of the liquidy stuff. I am also experimenting with various gelling agents and different container styles for things. I have a couple of containers up here. Oh yeah. These are like weird glass salt and pepper shakers. That should work really well. And I still have my hex jars. I may have to order more, but I'll cross that bridge when it comes. So I'm not gonna incorporate the plating up of those seeds in this video, only because I have already done a video where I showed the usage of the glove box. The only major difference here is that instead of me bleaching seeds and then using sterile distilled water to spread them on the media and then soaking up the extra water, I will rinse this with the alcohol, cut it open, and then just directly scoop the stuff into the media. And there's enough kind of weird condensation on the top of the media anyway to kind of distribute the seeds.